and welcome to the B-Super Data Management Dashboard tutorial. If you haven't already, go back and watch the tutorial on how to implement the B-Super, Essentials, and Extended surveys. This dashboard is the perfect companion to the data collected by the surveys and is comprised of 2 data entry sheets and 1 report sheet. So the report sheet is the one furthest to the left, and you can find the sheets all down here on the bottom of your Excel window. You can see your B-Super Essential Report. And what this is a pre-programmed sheet that, while it looks highlighted and color-coded now, is pre-programmed to do that. So all you have to do is enter data into the data entry sheet here and then knowledge quiz entry sheet here, and that populates the report sheet with all the data and highlights the important things you want to know. So for example, I've already input data here, and we can see that this is highlighted red, had minor injuries with no missed work. And what that means, if it's in the column organization X and it's highlighted red, that means your organization had a better score than organization X, which is our comparison group. So red is good for your organization. Now, more intuitively, green is also good for your organization when it's in the post-test column. Green in the post-test column means there's been an improvement from the pre-program measurement to the post-program measurement. So that means green is good, there's been an improvement here. And further, we collect a statistic called the p-value, which essentially tells us if the finding or the change, the improvement, is a real statistical change. And if it is a real statistical change, the p-value will be less than 0.05. To make it easier to interpret, we've highlighted it in yellow if it is a significant p-value that's less than 0.05. So that's the color coding the report form, and that happens automatically when you enter data. Now let me show you where you enter data, and that happens in the data entry sheets. And the first one is the B-Super data entry sheet, followed by the knowledge quiz entry sheet. So we'll start with our example in the B-Super data entry sheet. So the anatomy of the data entry sheet is also color coded. So to the far left, you see the title of each survey. And these are the surveys that come with the Google Sheets survey package that you've accessed by emailing one of our research assistants. So the example for today, we're going to be using the B-Super Essentials survey, which is the pre-programmed survey. And to the right of the title, you can see these yellow cells. This is where you input the ID number. So say we had 8 participants, which is the maximum number you should have in each little group. You just put each person's ID number here, and we've set the sheet up so that the ID number sticks with wherever you are on the rest of the page, just like so. So you never forget who is associated with each piece of data, as you see here. Okay, and so above the yellow ID numbers, so I'm just going to get back to where I want to be, is the blue cells that go horizontally. These are different measurement periods. So we have a pre-program measure, a post-program measure, a 6-month follow-up measure, and a 12-month follow-up measure. And these are kind of more optional. These are pre and post are definitely required to really assess how the programs worked for your company, but 6 and 12 months are additional, and they're very helpful, but more optional. Above those are these individual items or questions, and so you can see here's a question about age, gender, race, Hispanic or Latino, and they go on and on. So each one of these light purple cells is an individual question in the survey. Now above those is a dark purple strip, and what this is indicates a measure that sort of encompasses each of these items. So demographics would include age, gender, and all of these going on. And the next measure is well-being, injury, and illness, and contains individual questions about injury and illness, and so on. And below all this, you see light blue cells or light turquoise cells, and these are kind of automatically programmed cells that get the mean or the average, the standard deviation, which is not super important, and the p-value that we sort of discussed. And you don't have to really pay too much attention to this. This is just to help calculate all this and then shoot it into the report. So a lot of the things in the report are attached directly to these cells that you see. Below those further are orange cells, and those are some of the measures require additional computing, and that happens in these orange cells. And then again, the mean or the average, the standard deviation, and the p-value of those further computed cells belong here. Again, you don't have to remember all this just to see what's going on here. And so what I want to show you is how to input data from the survey into this spreadsheet in order to get some results in the report. And the example we're going to use is right here, hard physical activity. So we want to get our raw data from the survey here. And how to do that is you want to go to your survey. Again, this is the essential survey, right? The BSuper essential survey. Click on responses here. Sometimes it's highlighted here. We want to click on responses. And then go to this little button here to get the results in a spreadsheet form. And there it is. So you can see it has ID numbers here and all the output data here. You can go on and on and on and on. And so I don't waste your time and search for the items. I've already prepared this here. And what's really handy is that you can see that when you look into the question or item column, you see EXER1. That corresponds directly to EXER1 in the actual dashboard, which tells you where you should enter your data. So this is pre-programmed data here. So what we'll do is I'm going to highlight these cells and I'm going to copy. Looks like I have to do it on my keyboard, so I'm going to put Control-C, and then I'm going to go into my dashboard and put, I actually do paste special. Oh, it looks like it's not going to let me do this. So I'll just do a paste. And we only have 3 items here, so what I'm going to do is copy them and pretend like this is actually data from more than 3 people. So we have pre-item data here. And now it'll work even better if I just enter it in. So exercise 2, I also have 0, 4, 0. So I want to go EXER2 pre-test. 0, 4, 0, and you won't do this, but I'm going to fake this data here for this demonstration. And we'll move on to EXER3 right here. And the survey answers are, I created those also, so that's why they're so identical to each other. And let's do a few more of these. So now I'm going to go into EXER4 here. EXER4 here, again 0, 4, 0. Oops, not 40. And so this is an interesting case right here. So because we're using the free Google Sheets service, we can't just spit out the numbers that are corresponding. We don't have that much control over it. So instead I implemented a system so that you spit out the numbers in addition to the word response. In this case, all you have to do is copy the numbers here. So for EXER5, I have 0, 0, 0 for my 3 participants. So I'm going to go to EXER5 here and click on 0, 0, 0, and I'm going to continue there, acting like I have 8 participants instead of 3. And finally, EXER6, I have 1, 6, 1, as you can see right here. 1, 6, 1. And I don't type in the words, I just type in the numbers. 1, 6, 1. And I'm going to pretend like I had more participants here. Okay, so we used real data that I faked in the survey. And now I'm going to completely fake the post-test data for the examples. So let's say I want to show an increase in exercise. Let's just pretend like everyone decided to exercise a lot except for this person, just a little less, and all this exercise is very good. So there's that. I'm going to copy that to make this quicker and paste this into each post-test that is based on days. So there we go. paste special, and paste special to values is the best way to copy and paste things. It doesn't change the formatting. You see the formatting was changed here a little bit, so it's probably better if I manually input these numbers. And now to fake the data here for the demonstration, I'm going to say people went from being not very active, 0, because 0 is not active, to being somewhat active or active. And again, this is just for the demonstration. Alright, and for how much people agree with this, I exercise for 30 minutes almost every day, and I'm getting this from the question header here. I'm going to say people generally decide to exercise. Oh, they agree very much with this, so 6 or 7 on agreement. Okay, and so as you can see, all I did was enter data into these cells, and I'm sure you saw it. These light blue cells on the bottom started populating themselves with numbers, so this is the averages up here, and this is the p-values down here, and standard deviations here. But what we'll see is, if you go to the report, and we scroll down to the exercise items, which are all down here, as you can see, exercise, we can see that these have been populated with the same data from the entry sheet, but it's color-coded, so it tells us that we have improved from pre to post, so these are pre-scores to post. We've improved from pre to post on every item, because it's all green, and that each one of those improvements was statistically significant, meaning it's not a fluke, this is a real improvement that we can sort of rely on. Yeah, so that's how you use the B-Super Essentials report, and that's how you enter data into the B-Super data entry sheet. Now, I won't go too much into the knowledge quiz entry sheet because this is all very similar to the previous B-Super data entry sheet, except this data for the knowledge comes from the pre and post-test knowledge quizzes from the Get Healthy or Lifestyle Education card program. And so it's just a different source of data, but you enter it the same way. So say for this example here, 6-month follow-up, I would just enter the scores from this question here, and all of the report and these sections would fill themselves in. So this is a quick but not so quick overview of how to use the data entry sheets and the B-Super Essentials report. Please refer to the data management guide for more detailed instructions, and good luck!